Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGLEU. We are into match week 7 now, so we are certainly getting through this season. And of course, I'm joined by the usual suspects. Ollie to my left and Melly all the way down, further on the desk. But don't worry, we'll get to her soon. You won't be missing your Melly action all that much. And we do, as ever, have 3 brilliant games coming up for you today. And there is one that is going to be outstanding. But before we get to that, we have to look back at last week, just in case you've had a bit of a heavy weekend and kind of forgotten what's happened there. But Ollie, there were some pretty good games here. Yeah,
Ding Kazakru was pretty interesting. I was surprised that was such a one-sided result. I mean, Kazakru were just so on form in that match. It was great to see. Virtus Pro, no mercy. A very one-sided match, you can say that. Virtus Pro walking away with 5-0, then Utopia, Wusa. Utopia just really on form and Wusa struggling.
Yeah, it was a bit of a one-sided affair in the previous play day, but just so you know, guys, it wasn't just like that in the actual battles themselves. It did seem a little bit closer than the results may show. And just in case you missed it, here's a highlight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the WGLEU. They are down on HP, holding now outnumbered with Hyber coming in, but it was Schnitzel to claim the kill, now allowing the I3s to fold into place.
It's pretty close, but Yesny finds Percusiat, so 7 versus 3. HP's not that far away. I tell a lie, actually, it's very far away. So yeah, I think this is going to be game over. And so Mr. Murakar finds Yesny and Hyber onto Diplomat.
Yeah, that was a very one-sided ending. It looked like Kazna almost ran out of options here. At some point, it may just drop, and it might be very soon. But Holnick finds Nexus. This is not looking so good for Kazna, but here comes Hyber into the battle. Look at that play from Elia, not scared for a second. Going to try and take on Diplomat. He knows he'll have reload first, has faith in Yesny to come up with the goods. But now Ding down to 4 tanks still. Kazna have a lot more standing, but they are very low at this point. HP is not on their side.
Perfect position for Elian is actually between 2 wrecks, so he can just completely stay safe. He can get the peaks, he can do the damage, and it's looking bad news for Ding. As you can see, Shockish, the team captain, does fall. Eurofish might just lose this engage. Meritorious gets a shot first, but not a particularly high roll from him, but Eurofish just keeping Meritorious at bay, and Hulknick will finally secure the kill, but 0 seconds left on the clock, and Kazakru on the defensive side pick up the round in the match 5-2.
Coca-Cola down low. Lucky Blast doesn't miss, and that's perfectly done. Virtus Pro looking like they're dwindling in numbers. Maybe they're regretting being so fair and kind for once. Let's see if he can find the shot. Oh, beautiful damage done, but not enough to take him down. Now that leads the cards up in the air here as Brainiac tries to make his move, but Bishop comes in to join in. That's Mapiel gone. And now this fold isn't quite working out for No Mercy. They're kind of going to the brick wall here. Kusok has so much HP. Brainiac still pretty okay. And Bishop at 1.2k. Fussy has to be such a huge factor, and sadly he just got decimated. Shock is now surrounded, but he does get at least a little bit of support from Muka. Bishu finds Rufy, and now Shock 1v3. He's surrounded on all fronts. Spoink is even trying to overmatch against Papa here, and this is going backwards and forwards, but the HP is still in favor to Wusa.
I would say Wusa's really in the driving seat right now. You can see Muka doing as much as he can with a 3 seconds reload from that Carnivore, and he's in a great position. Basically hull down, nothing can penetrate him, but it's still 5 versus 3, and Utopia, they don't have that burst damage to really deal with Wusa right now.
Muka and Papa are so damn low. There we go. Does find Muka, and Wusa are keeping this one well within touching distance, but Lion will find Papa, leaving only 4 alive for Utopia, and they're really quite struggling here. Not much to do at this point, but Lion and Hallucinogen dying to get into the battle, but not quite getting the shots they need. But Sish is en route, so Sish is behind them, as Polymako does find, but Lion and Hunter finds Hallucinogen. Just right here. Yeah,
and shout out to Shushoku, you know, he's been doing such fantastic work. I think he was the highest damage leader on pretty much every single map on Himmelsdorf and on Ghost Town, so he's really starting to step up for his team. Couple of mistakes on Himmelsdorf, but we can negate those ones and just say he's a fantastic player. 2.1k in that last battle, followed by Hunter Zord, who's also been playing very well, of course, but Lion kind of out the battle, did 1.7k, about 500 of that was useless damage. But still, a lot of work to be done for Wusa right now.
Virtus Pro seeming like they're finally getting back to the form that we've known them as, and a lot of other teams actually showing some real strength. One of them there as well, individual, was Hunter having a great game. So there's some really good games looking back on there. But it did affect the rankings, so we can take a look at that now, because those games really do matter. Clean 5-0s or 5-1s equate to those 3 points, which are essential.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to get the big one-sided results. So the 5-4s, they do lose you a point because of the format we're using. Of course, you get that tiebreaker. But I mean, Team Supreme and Kazagru sitting out top. Thanks to that win, Kazan's actually starting to get close to Supreme. And I think you'll see Supreme, be tested today by Tornado Rock. So that could actually indicate to us, is Kazan going to take that first spot position, or at least be on the same amount of points?
Well, there's so many questions about how that top 6 is going to look after today. So many things could change here with one-sided results or a close game. You never know what's going to be coming up. And of course, No Mercy and ASAP at the bottom. They're really looking for something here. But today's not going to be an easy one, to say the least. So Melly, the people at home, of course, would love to get involved in this, I can imagine. We have one of the biggest games coming up so far of this season.
Absolutely.
How can they do so?
Yes, by simply heading over to facebook.com/WGLEU and clicking the very first link in our very first posting on our timeline, or the team vote button right above the timeline. Then you'll get forward to an app where you can vote for your favorite team. Keep in mind, Stronk Siema is coming out of a loss and Utopia out of a win, actually. And yes, it's all about you people. Hand in your favorites, choose for your favorite team, and then predict the exact scoreline for this matchup. Carmen actually said that this is going to be a very, very close party. So maybe you want to consider that. If you want to reread those predictions, head over to our Twitter account at WGLEU. We retweeted our very lovely Carmen and his predictions. So if you want to have an eye on that one to get maybe ideas or, inspiration, let's call it that way.
It's a good word for it.
So people, as said, head over to facebook.com/WGLEU, and by voting and by predicting the score, and if you're one of the 3 fastest, you may win a bonus code. We're having 3 on the line. And if you don't have Facebook, don't be sad. You can participate via Twitter as well. Just use the hashtag WGLEU for your predictions, or maybe questions, which I will forward to our experts.
Oh, it sounds good. Put us on the spot, make us work for our money, but still, no more teasing. Let's look at today's games, because I told you there is the season highlight coming up today, and of course it'd be wrong if it wasn't in the last place. We've got to keep you, interested through the other games, and the one I have to start at, I'm going to ignore normal order. Tornado Rocks against Supreme.
Yeah.
It's a massive game.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute cracker in my opinion. I mean, Tornado Rocks have been getting better and better throughout the season, really upping their game from a very shaky start where they went 5-4s against 3 or 4 teams. Team Supreme, on the other hand, very easy route for them through this season so far. Pretty much 5-1s, 5-2 against Dings throughout the season, and they really might be tested for the first time in this match.
And I'm so excited for it. But we have to, of course, look at the other games leading up to that one. Virtus Pro up against ASAP. It sounds one-sided, but let's see if maybe Virtus Pro can keep that extraordinary form we saw in that previous playday. And first game coming up is a bit of a Polish clash here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Polish derby, the last one for the season. I mean, Carmen put it out quite nicely on his normal recap for the match days. Stronk Siema against Utopia. I think, very hot-headed teams, very similar teams. They've been in each other's teams throughout the season, or other teams like Lucky Karaki or GF Gaming back in the day. So I think that one's going to be a really interesting one. I think the match is going to be very close.
Well, any domestic matchup always kind of brings it back so close between the teams. So guys, enough from us. We have an extra treat for you today. Let's hear from the captains themselves.
Utopia is the best of Polish teams, I think. They have more experience than us, but that's our friends, and we played a lot of matches against them in Polish league, and they aren't too strong for us. We can beat them really, and they have such a good players like Hunter Zord or Papa Pavian, which makes them stronger. But we'll try to do our best to beat them.
A tough task at hand coming up for that young man. Utopia, better placing so far, but as you said, these two teams know each other so well. It kind of brings it even closer now. What do we make of this? We know the maps as well, so why don't you take us through what we're about to see?
Yeah, we're going to see Himmelsdorf first, where Utopia is going to be defending, and then secondly, we'll be seeing Stronk Siema go for Ghost Town, where they will also be defending. Of course, you know, we got that weird situation where we've seen, you know, Utopia doing very well on Ghost Town, 70% win ratio. But again, another team picks it against them, so should be pretty interesting. Himmelsdorf, I mean, semi-popular map for these two teams. I think it's going to be very close. Again, I think this one's going to be determined on Ghost Town, where it does really depend on the strong Siema can really step up.
And let's bear in mind, Utopia could do with a nice win here with 3 points. They'll go up to second place, which is massive for a team who kind of came in a newish form with those old school players. So that's a really impressive result if they can get this in the bag. But of course, their countrymen stand in their way. So it's going to be pretty difficult. But you guys at home are always so good. The Polish fans out there do always turn up for these domestic matches. So do make sure you get in touch with Melly out there and you let her know what your thoughts are on this matchup. Because you're always pretty vocal. We already had Carmen, as you said, getting involved, letting us know what he thinks of the matchup. But Melly, what are your thoughts on this game? You've known these guys some time as well. And of course, a domestic matchup is always so difficult to predict, right?
Of course, yes, and it always gets the crowds very, very rowdy, let's say it that way. I really don't know. I think even, well, if you look on the standings, Stronk is of course below Utopia, and we saw some strong stuff coming from Utopia, but I don't think that Stronk will just give it away by doing nothing. And you know, when it comes up to your own nation, you always want to do best, and you don't want to give everything away.
Well, pride is on the line. A lot to be seen here. Let's get ready for map 1, Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad. Heavy tanks with powerful guns run the show here. However, much depends on the light tanks. Usually they go for the base capture.
And there we have it. Stronk Siema starting out on the attacking side here. And on the defense, it's Utopia. Looking at these lineups, they are very similar. And do you think these two are well aware of what each other wants to achieve here?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they train against each other a lot. And as I mentioned, they're very familiar with each other just because they've been, you know, in each other's teams. They've played a lot against similar training partners. You know, those kind of things really do come into account. You know, in my opinion, I think this one's going to be very close. I mean, Himmelsdorf is one of those maps where we're starting to see a little bit of changes, but we see immediately Utopia just going aggressive straight through the middle.
Yeah, Utopia have a bit of a plan in mind, clearly, and Lucas is going to get a face full of information soon enough. He does get McMoney at least a little lower, but Bishu finding Guccio straight away is going to make it a little bit more difficult.
I think Utopia is doing exactly what they need to do. You know, they played well against Synergy when they were on Himmelsdorf. They won both defensive rounds and one attacking round with just this aggressive defensive play, pushing through the middle, putting pressure on, you know, and also knowing when to flank, knowing when to, you know, really make their way around the map. So I like this play from Utopia. I think it's safe, and they just need to make sure they have all the angles covered because, you know, Stronk Siema could find a couple of shells.
And I always like, let's say, a favourable side like Utopia is not just sitting back and letting the slightly more underdog team have to make all the moves. They're staying proactive in this, they're staying aggressive in this, but Racing gets a good shot towards Shock. And it's a little bit of a stalemate at the moment, isn't it? What would really change this? Where are they going to find that weak link here, do you think? Well,
I think Utopia is quite happy just to sit here and try and exchange with Racing a little bit. As long as Shock doesn't take another shell, it should be okay. So I think this is really onto Stronk Siema to make the next move. You can see the 5100 of Steroids is already coming around to the side. Now, we've seen a lot of teams beat this kind of strategy by pushing two 5100s and IS3 onto McMoney's position. But that's why you can see Hunter Zord and Shock actually holding the hold down position with the IS3s. But because they've got two IS3s there, they do leave themselves susceptible to 1 to 3 line push. So then it all becomes about timing, you know. If Stronk Siema push 1 to 3 line, then Utopia needs to react quickly enough that it doesn't actually cost them too much and they can get a good position, a good strategical advantage.
I always love that when it's the mind games. It's, you know, okay, well, we know what our weakness is. When do we need to keep that in mind? When will they make that move? And that's where we're going to see the really big teams starting to make that difference. And Wilk is actually going to try and get a bit of a cheeky peek towards Lucas or Racing. But Aojek just says no. That IS-3 is not going to be messed with. And Wilk, does get caught out by Stu. I don't know if he's getting another shot towards him, but always a dangerous spot to be in there. But we know that these T-37s can do a great deal of damage from these positions, just chipping away at people.
Yeah, really good. I mean, the T-37 is the best tank on this hill. But, you know, not really finding that much right now. It's just trying to, you know, find some tanks or keep the pressure on to Stronk Siema. And if he can, it's going to be a really good start for them. But so far, so good. I'm really questioning of why Utopia is not making the move right now. I think they've got options. Obviously, Wicked is the main one. Papa Pavilion.
I'm sticking with Papa.
Papa's good enough, I think. Is you know, playing very well. He's actually one of the highest efficiency rated players, if that means anything these days. And you know, Hunter Zord, of course, the highest damage dealer from Utopia this season. Guzio, the highest for Stronk Siema. So you've got the kind of two superstars going up against each other. But then again, you know, Hunter Zord's been doing this damage, but he's not really made all the big plays.
And also bearing in mind, of course, Stronk are on the attack still, so they've got just under 3 minutes now to make something out of this. It looks like they are starting to consider that 1 to 2 line play, which you said was certainly an option, because when you see those IS-3s, when you see so much put towards that A line, it provides a weakness. But now I want to see where Utopia's plan is, because if you're able to spot out the weakness, surely someone like Stronk and Utopia will be both aware of it. But there we go, there's the reason that they're still so confident here. 2 shots come across, Stu and Aojek down a little low, Stu takes another, and this is a lot of damage coming in here.
Very bad positioning by Stu. I mean, really just sitting in the middle of everywhere and getting shots. You can actually still get killed through the houses there, but you can see damage is starting to head towards Utopia as well.
Yeah, Utopia aren't getting away scot-free here. The fold is starting to come in towards... Oh, it's looking like Speed, but he's backed out. So actually, they're pushing through in quite a dangerous angle. Shock takes 2, make it 3. Stu, even though he was down so low, makes the most of it, getting the shot through there. Now Bishu trying to hunt down Aojek. This isn't over just yet. Utopia are holding on by a very thin line, but Stronk will start running out of time here. Will's going to make the push towards Speed. He should easily have the shot first, and he might be able to take him down. He does. Now Utopia have a firm advantage, but Money, Hunter, and Papa getting into the battle now.
Yeah, this is good news for Utopia. It's working out very well. They're very aggressive players, just catching Stronk Siema by surprise, and these 3 IS-3s will punish Racing.
And it looks like the support is a little too far away as well. Hunter and Papa are looking towards Formula and Lucas, but it's still a little dreary. It's a little drib and drab. It's not too much finishing power, but finally Papa's going to do the job towards Racing as Lucas and Formula are left in an awkward predicament. The last 2 tanks alive. They can surely pick up a couple here, but can they close out the game? They've got 1 minute and 20 seconds. They've taken down 2. They're trying to fight their way back in here, but there's still but Money. There's still Bishu, and Bishu's only got 17 seconds until he's reloaded and ready to go.
I think this could still be a chance for Stronk Siema because Bishu's actually on reload. They need to take down McMoney, and they need to get themselves into a safe position where all but miss comes out from Formula. Oh no, that was a miss. I thought he actually shot, managed to land that shell, and well, he's stuck in the middle of nowhere there.
But Bishu's back now. He's got the shells ready. He needs to make this count. Wilk's already getting the hell out of dodge. He knows this is about timing now. Bishu takes down Formula, and it's now a 1v2. Lucas has to come up big. He gets the first shot, but now Bishu, down to 4 HP, has 3 shells to make. 40 seconds to try and fend off Lucas, and Lucas has the shell ready right about now. He's going to side scrape his way in IS-3. Perfect for it, but Bishu has none of that, hitting 2.1k, and Utopia kicking this game off with a bang.
And of course, Wicked was running away in the T-37, just making sure, you know, if Utopia did somehow lose Bishu, that he was still in a position where they could win, because of course they're on a defensive side. But yeah, I like that round from Utopia. I think they're learning lessons from Synergy and seeing what worked for them in that matchup. And, you know, of course, you know, it went very well. Being aggressive on the defensive side is always a good shout. And we are noticing on Himmelsdorf, actually, even with the changes, the defensive side still slightly favored.
Especially when the defenders go aggressive these days. It used to be like this crazy thing, like, why would you do that? Why would you push them? But then you think of all the time that you're going to cost the attackers, all the map control that you have, and you're still able to cover over that kind of western side cap. As we saw, there was 2 tanks going for that there. But now let's put ourselves in towards Stronk's shoes and just, you know, try and and run through the options here. Now, we've seen more and more often that aggressive play happening. How do you get around it? Because you said that 1 to 2 line is vulnerable. How can they make the most of that next time?
Well, I think they just lost too much. I mean, you could see Steroids went very low in that AMX 5100 for basically no damage at all, just some bad positioning by him. I think if they want to make it work for them, they need to be a little bit more concise. I think having Ojek and Steroids on their own in that position without any of the other tanks really doing anything kind of let Utopia go aggressive, straight off the bat. They went straight up the 8 line, pushed around, did damage against the IS-3 sitting there. So I think they had a kind of very linear approach to the map, which didn't work out so well.
Well, let's take a look back at some of those moments that did kind of seal the deal for Utopia. This was them folding on towards racing. Formula and Lucas doing something similar, but at this point still, you can see Wilkes already starting to position himself away from this battle after he already did get the kill in the bag, and it seems Utopia are thinking ahead here and have a clear plan in mind.
Yeah, they are. They're doing pretty well at the moment. I mean, of course, Utopia is perhaps the slightly favored team in this matchup, considering the ranking and their previous results. But just looking at the damage here, I mean, Lucas Yasta hitting almost 2.3k, Bishu on 2.2k. The damage is very close. The only one's really not performing is Guzio, who's the highest damage leader said for Stronk Siema. Surprisingly, actually playing that T37, so maybe an indication that, hey, damage is not the most important thing for Utopia on for Stronk Siema even on this map. It's more about having a clear and solidified kind of view and strategical outlook on it.
Well, it's certainly seeming that way. We'll have to see if that comes into the play for the next round. Of course, we'll be jumping back in on the same sides. And Melly, how are the people at home doing so far? The Polish crowd's normally pretty loud and pretty involved. Are they starting to turn up yet? I mean,
Ollie says they're Utopia slightly favored. I said they're almost on par, and the community just goes nuts and says 87% for Utopia.
Yeah.
All right, well, when there's bonus codes on the line,
of course,
they don't mess around.
Wild.
Exactly. So they clearly have a favor here. We'll have to come back and see how the votes go maybe after the next round, see if it equals up a little bit. But you guys really fancying Utopia in this one. Bearing in mind, they are in 4th place. They could get up to 2nd. It does make sense. Yeah. As you said, when bonus codes are on the line, there's no messing around. There's no fun anymore. It's all about those goodies. Anyway, time for round 2 to kick off any second. Now the teams are ready, locked and loaded. And, well, first round is Utopia's. Can Stronk come back? They're still on the attack, bearing in mind, and Utopia on the defense. Yeah,
so obviously, Stronk Siema down around right now. You can see they are wanting to change things up. Now, I guess they're going to be pretty scared of Utopia for actually a play towards the hill, because Utopia is very good at defending that northern side and going aggressive. In my opinion, the best way Stronk Siema could do this one would be... I would go for the cap, put 3 IS-3s in the cap and just be super annoying for Utopia. Don't let them get the positions.
Now, it looks like they switched out. I'm almost certain Utopia had 2 5100s before. Now having the additional IS-3, is that a direct response, or is it just maybe a little bit of a switch in tactic here, because they're not going as aggressive now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always strange when a team picks one less AMX 5100, but then if you look back, classically, Utopia is a very IS-3 orientated team. They like those kind of heavier lineups, and maybe just don't have a 5100 player that can really perform. And you've got to remember this as well. Bishu always plays a 5100. It doesn't really matter which map he's on.
He will have a
5100. So it's not even like, oh, let's have him in an IS-3. It's just no choice. They possibly, would have 6 IS-3s if Bishu wasn't playing in this round. But anyway, back to what could happen here.
Yep.
I think Stronk Siema, they do need to make a move. You can see they are slightly orientated towards that left side. Looking at their lineup, they can outburst, outdamage Utopia quite easily with that extra 5100. So they could also just maybe push onto Papa, take him down. He's pretty alone and unsupported, and that might just give them the edge.
Can they make the most of this? Because it looks like Utopia went to a far more classical approach to Himmelsdorf, but Papa is out on a limb, and there really is no one here to support him. And I'm kind of curious as to what he expected to happen. And here we go. Already one shot comes in. Make it 2. Racing's bearing the brunt of Papa's response, but Lucas and Formula all piling up here. We are seeing the mobilization from Utopia coming in as well from the north, but Papa is going to be in severe trouble. But this is taking time. I'm surprised he was able to last that long, but finally does get picked up. But the cavalry has arrived.
Yeah, the cavalry is finally there. I mean, you could see the move was obvious from Stronk Siema, but it just really depends on the response here from Utopia. You could see Hunter Zord as well from behind.
They've got them in that that kind of shooting row, almost in an enfilade here, when they're just lining up for them. Racing and Aojek taking a good bit of damage. Hunter in the background, but there isn't that burst, as you mentioned, when you don't have those 5100s here. It's not so quick and back to back, but certainly still coming through. Hunter taking a lot of damage, doing a lot back, however. Money found racing. This is still pretty close, and actually Utopia are struggling for HP. Make it numbers now, because Speed and Lucas are doing what's required. They're doing what's needed, and they're actually coming out on top here after being in such an awkward predicament in just this one alley. Now in the background, sure, that T-37 constantly doing damage, but it's not enough here. The IS-3s are powering forward, those 5100s to support them as well, as now just Muka and Wilk alive.
Yeah, just 2 remain. It's just seemed really obvious from Stronk Siema. I mean, I really don't know why Utopia went for that tactic. Even having the 5100s behind, I mean, you really couldn't say Papa Pavian there. He was just on his own, unsupported, no love for him at all, and he got taken down. This is a very one-sided round from Stronk Siema, just brushing aside Utopia. And, you know, it's kind of a little bit condescending. I mean, Utopia did such a good game on the first round where they managed to, you know, really work for their win, and now they just throw this one away, and Stronk Siema walk away with a fairly easy, one-sided, convincing win. But still, Wicked remains the T-37 Extraordinaire, 785 damage, but I don't think he's even going to be able to get back to the cap in time.
No, 5 seconds left. He starts to get through an IS-3 as well, which may make it even more difficult, as Formula is just waiting around this corner, and the base is captured. Stronk actually managing to pick up a round here, 1 for 1. And they needed that.
Yeah, they desperately needed that. I mean, you could see there Papavian on his own. Stronk Siema just pushed through the middle. They did the kind of thing Utopia did in the first round. Saw Papa was on his own, used the burst damage from the 5100s, and just took him down. You could see Utopia try to react, coming from the 1 to 3 line. Didn't really make much happen. Hunter's Ord as well, in the middle, unsupported in IS-3. When you had 5100 all the way over towards that 8 line. So, I don't know, it seemed kind of a very drab approach to the map from Utopia, and it didn't work.
Yeah, and let's look back at some of what shaped that round up. And this is where I thought Utopia would have had a far superior plan than this, but it did seem a little lackluster.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you know, Stronk Siema do well here. They got good positions because they got pretty decent amount of covers as well. Lucas Shiasti can reverse. And he can go in the middle. You can see the response now very strong from Utopia, and it was also that 5100 all the way down south. It's just basically sniping is pretty useless, as well as that T-37 of Guccio. So it's really these players here who do such a fantastic job staying alive, winning the engagements, and also, you know, just managing to keep the position they wanted. So very good job from Stronk Siema.
Yeah, very impressive stuff, and considering you guys at home were completely backing Utopia, it's nice to see it a 1-1. Oh, Melly, what's happening?
Nothing. It's still like that.
Really?
Yes,
no one's
of
having
course.
faith? Oh.
No, still 87 for Utopia. Just the votes getting more. Percentage is staying the same.
Well, they got faith overall. Now, we've seen one half, of course, where it's a 1-for-1. Is that fairly common these days on Himmelsdorf, or are we seeing more and more often 2-0s?
I think Himmelsdorf is one of those maps which is not so much about 2-0s anymore. I mean, the attacking side is about 45% win ratio, the defensive side about 55. So we still got that little bias towards the defensive side, and I think that may be more down to the way the teams play it. Just not so good in the attack, of course. You know, Himmelsdorf since the beginning of time is all about being about the defense. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if this is 3-1 towards, you know, Utopia Stronk Siema. It's so close at this point. But looking at the damage, I mean, Formula, the new player for Stronk Siema, he just joined us last week. 2.1k damage. Impressive stuff.
Very
Lucas
nice.
Shiasti, I mean, of course, the guy from Evil Panel Squad, the team leader in previous seasons. 2,000 damage from him, and, you know, Maka, the only one approaching 1,000 damage from Utopia. So, yeah, I mean, pretty one-sided affair, and I think, you know, Utopia needs to keep being aggressive if they want to get these rounds.
Yeah, it seems that when they kind of rest on their laurels, play a little bit more passively, Stronk will make the most of it. And as we said, in domestic matchups, it's always going to be like that. These teams know each other better than anyone else. Even if you do the anti-strat game that we know a lot of teams do, you still won't know them as well as you know, considering you've had to play with these guys in teams. They know all the little nuances that players have. But now going into the second half here, basically, of the first map, if you're going to predict a scoreline, which sort of scoreline we're looking at and to which favor?
I think it could go to either team. As I said, I think this will be a 3-1, but I really couldn't tell you which team is in favour. I mean, to be honest, Utopia, as I said, have a slight advantage, and I think they are a better team in many respects. But Stronk Siema is one of those teams we've seen throughout the season where they either win it by like 5-0 or 5-1, or lose it like 5-0 or 5-1, and it also reflects in the damage. You know, the more rounds you play, the more damage your team does, the higher your team is up the Hall of Fame, and of course, Stronk Siema not very far up.
That's a good point, actually. There's a very good point. Anyway, we are into this one, and we are seeing almost an identical matchup, but we do see the MT25 being picked up by Utopia. So, into this one, just to remind you, just to clarify, we are a 1-to-1. Utopia now on the attacking side, Stronk on the defense. What do we expect to see here?
Well, we see Utopia just looking like they want to set up a pretty standard attacking round. You got the MT25, very fast, very agile, pretty strong, nimble thing. Really the jack of all trades in many respects. We've seen a lot of teams play that one, and of course, you know, great penetration, like I think 170, 180. So you can actually slice through the IS-3s, no problem at all. But 8 line looks like the biggest option for Utopia. They're not going through the middle too aggressively, obviously scared that Guzio will spot them.
So explain to me this. Now, once Utopia find out the information, ideally, that there's no one pushed up aggressively, that they're not placed on the hill, once the kind of cards have been seen of Stronk, why would any team not leave maybe an IS-3 down that one line for the defending side? What is the advantage of keeping all your tanks here towards the north and not even considering the western side? Or is that why Speed's there?
Well, I think in all, it's much easier to cap that northern side. I mean, you've got more angles of attack there, whereas the western side you can only attack from the south and the 1-to-3 line. If you sit up in the north, you can spot the middle. You can also keep control of the hill and make sure there's no team, attacking stance from there. And you've also got a defensive line on the 8 line. So I think there's just more bases to be covered when you've got a stack up north. But you can see Utopia starting to put Wicked in the cap. Now, typically, you'll see the defensive team flex around into the middle and try and come from a few angles. It is very tricky to actually decap this.
Yeah, we see that more often than not, that these teams do struggle to actually get the job done without losing so much. That's the big factor here, that sure, they can decap it, but it's the amount of damage they take getting there, how they have to deal with crossing over, and there's so many factors towards it. So they're looking for kind of their way in. It looks like, as you said, they're going down the middle.
Yeah, they are. Just going to go straight through the middle, but you can see the 5100 actually is on the hill. I think that might be Bishu on there. He's actually going to be a very big thorn in the side. He might do a lot of damage against Racing and Formula, who not only have to stop, but also have to reset and reapproach the way they actually go into this decap.
Well, there's 0 damage done so far, but there is the pester factor, of course, as Lucas does take 1, but he has slowed down Formula drastically. Racing slowed down. They've been able to focus towards Stu, who's been seemingly picked up every single time. He's already taken 1,200 damage, and Shock's going to just deliver when it's needed. Now we're seeing Speed get into the battle, but as we mentioned, there's so much damage being taken by Stronk here. Utopia are holding fantastically as Speed is being destroyed. They're down to a one-shot now. Wilk's going for a little bit of a go at it, and why not, I guess, but Shock's on reload. He can't do anything, and Speed might be able to take him down. Racing finds Wicked, and now this is back, not even, but Utopia are being tested a touch.
Well, the thing is, Stronk Siema aren't finishing off the tanks, and Utopia are doing the same. There's a lot of low HP tanks on the battlefield, which the teams need to start getting down. It's pretty even right now, but Mucker's getting singled out.
Mucker's been caught out. He's in severe trouble, and there's Racing coming into the fight, and Utopia might have just let this advantage slip. As you said, so many tanks on so little HP. Lucas and Speed, both one-shots, but Hunter doesn't have a shell to be able to put into place, and they're not letting him get close to these tanks. Great little crossfire towards Hunter. The player that people are pointing out is such an important factor, but now Utopia still have so much HP, but Stronk have the numbers.
Yeah, that's a big thing, though. I mean, you definitely want the numbers and not the HP, because Lucas Shiasti and Speed are very good players, so they're just staying safe, and they're making sure that they're just covering the tanks that have HP and are going forwards, and making sure that they keep the angles covered from many attacks. But Money is getting himself back into this game.
But Money's doing the hard work. Bishu's just gone on reload. Papa's found Lucas, and one by one, Stronk just went in by their own. They allowed them to get back into this, but Speed's here, and Speed has 3 more shots, and there's Guccio finding Bishu. It's all on McMoney. 1v2. He can do this, bearing in mind. McMoney can
You can
make
do this
this count.
easily. I mean, this should be... The only problem McMoney has is that he's attacking and Strong Siema on the defense, so they only need to run away.
Exactly. Speed's already out there. Oh my god, McMoney just catching Guccio on the way around the corner. A little unfortunate, but he has to focus on this. Guccio's going to go north. We've got Speed going south. He's in between a rock and a hard place. He's hit 2.6k, but he must land this shot to at least stop Guccio making a run for it. And
he needs to cap, you know. McMoney
has to.
McMoney has really no option right now. He needs to be in a position where he can get the cap underway and he can actually get the shot onto the tank that wants to decap him.
Who are they going to send? Guccio or Speed? Speed has reload available in about 8 seconds, but he's pretty far away. That T-37, however, can certainly make a good move of it. Now, McMoney, good positioning here. It looks like he's trying to cover himself off, utilizing the fallen Wicked, but still, 82 seconds. He's got to be careful here.
The problem McMoney has right now is that the 5100 has better view range than the IS-3. Only slightly, but, you know, it does make a difference. So technically, he can be spotted before he spots the 5100, and that definitely goes for the T-37 as well. So the really clever move from Strong Siema would be to kind of set up a sandwich situation. As you can see, Guccio just really hard to spot.
Guccio's a mile away from him, but they have spotted out McMoney. Speed's moving in for this as well towards the south, and of course he can't be in two places at once here. McMoney needs to make this count. Whoever makes the play, he has to be perfect at landing this shot. Speed has a go at it. Not going to find that one. Keeps him spotted. Gives away his position. 40 seconds. Guccio having a go. I think Guccio just reset it as well.
That's
Fantastic work from Guccio there.
Yeah, that was, you know, the backup plan the whole time. Guccio just in the background. He waits until McMoney swings his turret towards Speed. Then Guccio just goes in for the kill. Not for the kill, but for the reset. Finds it. And obviously one reset when you have one tank in the cap is enough. So it will be game over. McMoney tries desperately to get a shot underneath that train cart, but of course, you know, the IS-3, not the most accurate thing in the world, and Guccio, very slippery fish indeed.
Oh, we saw the impact that Guccio can have. Really impressive that he was able to do that. Of course, Speed helping him out, but they were both very low and in a really tricky predicament. But this is the power of having tanks alive. Keeping guns in the game isn't only to do the damage, you keep so many more options available, and this one will be Stronk's coming in, and that's going to be a 2-1 result, and actually you guys at home are guessing it wrong so far.
Yeah, this is looking good for Strong Siema. I mean, that game should have been Utopia's. They had all the positions, they did a lot of damage at the beginning, they just didn't finish off the tanks, and also once Strong Siema got into a position where they could get the decap and they were playing around that capping area in the houses, you know, you saw a lot of IS-3s unsupported by the other Utopia tanks, and they got singled out and taken down. So just a good ballsy play from Strong Siema. You know, they took a lot of damage at the beginning, but it worked out in the end.
It really did. I'm a little surprised so far, but Melly, have those votes started to change at all just yet?
Slowly. We saw some change already. Strong made it up to 25%.
I guess that's something.
Exactly, and the Twitch chat is already considering a game over the full distance.
Yeah, well, they think it's going to go 3 maps, no messing around.
Absolutely, 9 rounds minimum. Maximum and minimum.
What are your thoughts on that one? Do you reckon we're going to see a third map?
I think it's a real possibility. As I said before, I think Strong Siema is one of those teams that has a tendency to either win it or lose it all. So, I don't know. I mean, these teams are very close. You can see it's going backwards and forwards. You know, you get an impression, oh, Strong Siema's playing so well, but then Utopia are very close in many respects. So, I think this could be a 5-4. But just running down the damage quickly, Guccio actually the highest damage dealer for his team playing in that T-37 on the hill at 1.6k. Really, and of course, McMoney, that last man arrived for Utopia with 2.6k, and Shoku way far behind him with 1,000 less at 1.6k. So you can see the disparity definitely hurt Utopia there in that match.
Oh, 100%. But now, surely Utopia has to just wake up at this point. They're 4th in the league so far. I get it, you know, the domestic matchup thing, it is a real factor, but at some point, surely they could go, guys, we need to, you know, sharpen up here. It doesn't matter if we know these guys, they're old teammates or anything like that. They have to sharpen up, Ollie. It has to happen.
I think Utopia's in a great position on the leaderboard because they got, you know, wins like they did against Wusa. they're in a position where they can say, hey, look, we can challenge for those top spots, like a top 3, a top 2 position, and they need to go through these arch rival games, the games against their enemies and their friends to do so. So they've done well at the beginning of the season, they just need to keep it up.
And Melly, if people want to change their vote real quickly, how can they do so?
By heading over to facebook.com/WGLEU, and keep in mind, by participating, by voting and being one of the 3 fastest to have the exact scoreline predicted, you can win one of 3 bonus codes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. It's well
some good
worth
old
it.
bonus codes. I mean,
who doesn't love a good bonus code?
I mean,
right?
Ollie's opinion on this completely reflects on the vote so far, so...
Yep. Well, we're going to find out soon. I think the teams are getting themselves ready, so we'll be jumping into game very quickly, if I'm not mistaken. But here we go. We are live into this one, and once again, seeing Utopia favouring just the 150-100, but they are on the attacking side now. So let's see what they can bring to the plate here. They are the favourites in this. They should be winning these games, but so far, they've been trailing behind Stronk.
I wouldn't be surprised if that actually goes 2-2 now. I mean, Utopia, of course, has a harder job. Being on the attacking side, but this move in here from Stronk Siema is not unlike them. They do actually go aggressive along the 1 to 3 line, but with 4 IS3s, that's a little strange. But Wicked might just actually catch a whiff of this and spot them out, but he hasn't so far, but he's making the move to do so.
Oh, there we go. There it is. The lights are going up, and that's going to be a hell of information gathered, but somehow, Wicked
that's
staying alive.
The MT25 is such a beast in that respect.
Beautiful. He's just dancing between these shells, but he does have 4 IS3 staring him down, but somehow still stays standing. And while all this is happening, look where the rest of his team's going.
Yeah, the rest of the team really needs to react quickly now. I think this is going to be down to where Guccio goes, if he finds out whether the counter reaction from Utopia is going to be. But Wicked really doing a lot for his team, that's a good... about a minute distraction time for Utopia to actually make the move. Now, Stronk Siema have got the western side, Utopia have the eastern side and the hill. So I think the best bet for Utopia would just be to go for that cap and keep the hill under control so they can make sure that the rotate doesn't happen.
All right, so a couple of players got spotted on the cross, so the jig is certainly up. They know what's going on here. The 5100s will be the first back into position, excluding Guccio, who was obviously here quite early on in that T37. Shock. Just going straight in here, looking for that shot towards Stu. Getting 2 on the cross, that's massive. That 5100 down so low already, down to 614 HP, joined by Speed. But the IS3s, they're not joining the 5100s, they're going for a different angle. So they need to be careful here, Utopia. They could get surrounded.
Yeah, they could, but the thing is, if they have all the angles covered, it should be okay. But Hunter needs to be careful of that place.
He's just overextended massively. He's got 3 tanks now staring him down. I don't think Muka can save him from this, and Utopia's going to have to just watch their teammate get picked to pieces unless he pulls off something fantastic here. But it's not going to happen. Lucas finds him instantly, and that must surely just be a player error.
That was way too aggressive from him. I mean, you could get the position in time, but Speed does come from the side as well.
Yeah, they're making the most of this ideally, but Speed's not landing the shots he wanted. There we go. Finally looking for some more shocks. Going down so low here. Guccio might be able to do a good bit of damage, but Speed will finish off the job towards Shock. Now Guccio, once again, backing out, keeping the damage going. Bishu trying to hold back the flood, but Stronk are knocking out the door, and they might just break this door down. 3 tanks remaining for Utopia. Potomako, Muka, and Bishu in a world of trouble.
So many individual mistakes from Utopia. I mean, McMoney missing, Speed missing, everyone just missing their shells, and it's leaving a lot of tanks alive for Stronk Siema. They got Ojet, they got Racing, and they got Steroids on pretty low hit points at this point in time, but Potomako, Muka remain to try and pick up the pieces.
Potomako and Muka are in a real dire situation. They're going blow for blow, but they just don't have the HP or the numbers to keep up with this. And 1-for-1 trades are perfectly fine here, and it will be Stronk picking up the 3-1 result on Himmelsdorf. I do not believe it. Stronk have come out in this one and just wanted to prove a point, and my God, have they?
Yeah, they're looking awesome, looking really on point, but I have to say again, Utopia seem to be letting this one slip, and they're making so many mistakes. Hunter there, McMoney missing, Speed missing, these kind of missed shells when you have 11-second reload are simply not tenable, especially in the kind of distances you're talking about in Himmelsdorf. But again, Stronk Siema, they were brave. They went down towards the western side, all the way down to the K line, went aggressive around the south, surrounded Utopia, took them down, and I think it was a good move from them. I mean, looking at the damage quickly, 2.4k, 2.5k from Lucas Shiasti, and only Potomako stepping up for his team, 2.3k from him.
Yeah, so let's take a little look back at that game and see the moments that unfolded. And this was one of the moments you said about the players just weren't hitting their shots ideally at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Speed should be dead right now because I think it was one of the IS3s. Maybe Shuku missed his shell, actually. So, Speed had so many options then to make something work. He just went forward, went aggressive, tried it, and it worked out well.
Put that pen down, Ollie. I will throw it at your face.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, sorry.
I got
This
angry.
pen makes me so angry. If you guys can't hear the noise,
I got
little
angry
squeaky
Facebook
noise.
messages regarding that pen the last
Really?
time.
What's
So,
wrong with it?
Ollie, careful. Really, I was
gone.
about to. I was trying to hold mute button and reach over and get this pen away. I'm sick of.
I need to get like a nice little chalkboard so I can blackboard even. So I
Hell
can
no.
with my fingernail down
don't
it.
do that. Don't
Or
you
like
dare.
a porcelain basin with like wet sand in it.
Stop it.
Or a fork on
Stop-
porcelain.
Stop it. You're all evil people. I want to say something much meaner.
You know, there's like a
No.
disease for people who have like problems
A
with sound. I don't
disease?
think it's a
It's
disease.
just a
I think
high
it's a problem.
frequency.
I think
hurting
it's
your
like
ears.
I think it's a problem. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Maybe
We know you have problems, darling.
I don't mind it. I like the sound.
You like? How can someone possibly? I
'Cause
don't
it
mind
annoys
it,
you.
but oh, that's the reason. Okay, people. Well, yes, the first map is over. With a surprise standing, actually, something you haven't predicted so far, still favoring Utopia very strongly. And people, the first map is over. We will head into a short break, but don't forget, until the second map starts, you still have time to vote. Get in your predictions via Facebook.com/WGLU. I was kind of afraid you played with that pen again. Put
No.
it down, please.
I'm not playing with my pen. Don't worry, it's fine.
I don't believe you. I
What?
don't believe. No. No.
What?
People, head over to Facebook.com/WGLEU and hand in your votings. Maybe you will have still time to win one of 3 bonus codes because the first 3 that get the prediction right will win bonus codes. And so far it looks like you have favored Utopia much more than Stronk. So we don't know how it goes on the second map. But we will surely find out after a short break.
Welcome back to the WGL EU. Hopefully you didn't go too far away because this game is about to get good. Because believe it or not, Stronk are currently beating Utopia. Now that is not something I expected to be saying, especially on Himmelsdorf. But now we've got a very interesting map coming up for map 2.
Yeah, we've got Ghost Town coming up where Stronk Siema will be on the defensive side, again starting on the defensive side, and of course that'll mean Utopia's on the attack. Now classically, Utopia, amazing team on the defensive side, haven't lost a single round yet in the season so far, and Ghost Town has been one of their favourite maps. On the attacking side, they've also been pretty good.
They've had ingenious plans. They were able to cap the central point as well. They've showed so much brilliance.
They've shown a lot of brilliance on Ghost Town, obviously doing a lot of training against some of the Russian teams on this map, and it's working out very well for them. So, you know, this is, though, Stronk Siema's map choice, like it was in the previous round. I believe maybe Wusa picked it up, and it didn't work for them, so it might not work for Utopia here.
Yeah, it's a little, it's a little curious to pick your opponent's best map, basically. Now, either that means, sure, they are super ready for it, they've done anti-strats or whatever it is, but I hope they have something in mind, because Melly, the people at home, of course, will be getting their votes through to us as this goes along, but it's going to be closed very soon, right?
Absolutely. Right before before the second map, that's what I was trying to say. And as already Ollie already stated, it's Stronk's vote, so the map to defend on Ghost Town first. And Stronk is leading with 3-1. Just to repeat it to the audience at home, that's not wrong for everyone that just tuned in. That's actually pretty right. Stronk is up, but still not favored in the vote. So still 70% for Utopia. Yes, I don't know what people
but the people that know Stronk Siema, you know, so much, and I think they're starting to get some fans now, and of course, you know, their social media presence and, you know, doing videos and stuff like that definitely helps them there.
Of course, and Ollie, you already said that Stronk is training against Russian teams.
All of them are. Everyone is.
How different are the play styles?
I don't think they're very different at all. I mean,
they used to be different back in the seasons.
Yeah, I mean, the Russians were definitely at the beginning very aggressive, pretty strong. But I mean, yeah, we're going to head into game now onto Ghost Town.
So let's take a look at it.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for it, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks.
Alrighty guys, welcome to Ghost Town. I know it's a little bit of a jarring introduction, but I assure you the gameplay is going to be smooth. So 3-1 right now in favour to Stronk, the team that I don't think anyone really predicted to get to this point, but they're certainly turning up. But there's MVP Papa, the guy who just revolutionised how to play that tank on this map. But what does Stronk have in mind here? What are you seeing that's different, unique? Is there anything standing out to you here?
Well, you can see straight away Stronk Siema doing the right thing. You know, they're keeping that northern cap under control. I mean, we've seen a lot of defense teams pick the 2-5-1 or artillery or a combination of both on this map just to keep that northern side under control. So, you know, this is the thing. Stronk Siema picked this map for a reason. They've seen Utopia play it and win it time and time again. And they really just have an anti-strat right now. They're setting themselves up in the north, keep it under control, and they're just waiting for Utopia to do the predictable thing. Because, you know, this is the thing. Utopia are super predictable, and they win still. So, I mean, that's their biggest problem right now.
Well, I'm hoping we actually get to see finally someone who can maybe work around that and actually have a plan in mind. Because so far, it's always been the other team being so far behind and being so passive. And we are seeing that rotation to the south coming in from Utopia.
Yeah, they are starting to head around. I mean, of course, they had a northern kind of area scoped out. Didn't work out for them. And I think they might be setting up for that 2-cap, the middle cap situation where they kept control of a load of angles around the middle cap and then put some tanks in there, made sure that no one could go forwards, making sure that, you know, they keep under control, they keep it in their hands, and they just wait for the other team to walk into the trap.
And arduously done here. Utopia being forced into maybe plan B. They probably had a different idea in mind, but it's good to see Stronk being able to push them to this sort of marker, but they've got to expect this. They've got to predict that this is an option. Let's see what they have in mind now. Does Stronk have an idea of how to counter this? That T-54 is something we haven't seen all that often.
Yeah, I mean, well, we do see often this as the defensive team or attacking team. Normally the defensive team pick it once because, you know, it does work out. You see it doing quite a lot of damage against the lightweights, and it has that roaming ability which you don't get in a 5100 and an IS-3. You got more flexibility. You can go around the map a lot more easily. But, you know, Utopia's starting to run out of time. I mean, they've got 4 minutes left, so they need to make a plan of action, need to make a move now. Stronk Siema do have an idea of what Utopia are doing. They're setting up well for the northern cap at the same time. They got the T-37 roaming around to try and see if that northern cap will be the movement, and then they are also have tanks near the middle. Now, the middle cap's underway. This could actually be a bait from Utopia, though. They could be going for a different move.
Only shock in this cap. So yeah, it does seem as though maybe this is a little bit of a bait. Almost trying to see where the opponents are waiting, where Stronk is trying to counter this from. We're seeing the IS-3s towards the east splitting and some to the west. So it looks like they're actually going to try and take some sort of positional advantage here.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I like the setup from Utopia. They got so much flexibility. They got the 5100 behind. Papa Pavian as well is starting to rotate in that 5916. Now, I think what Stronk Siema has to do is that they need to commit onto a weak point of Utopia. Just go for it. Get the overmatch, get their tier 8 tank down, and then they can just continue that surge. We've seen it time and time again on Ghost Town. It is a map where you can just go around a corner, blow a tank up very quickly, and then, you know, you got the advantage.
Well, it took us quite some time to get those first bits of damage coming in, but there they are. Stronk are actually getting broken down a fair amount here. Aojek's been caught out massively. As you said, you can just come around the corner and destroy someone, and Aojek's on the receiving end, but Bishu now hunting down Lucas, that T-54, trying to wisp away, but he does get tracked. He gets held, but how many shells did the 5100 then have? I'm not too sure, but Wicked and McMoney challenge down Stu.
Yeah, Stu Rise is going 2 versus 1 at the moment. He's doing pretty well. Almost time finds Wicked on really no HP at all, but now he's on reload.
Yeah, Stu needs to back the hell out of there. He's in trouble, but Guccio's got his back. Wicked goes down. And now keep your eyes on that capping timer, bearing in mind here, Stronk need to be careful with the amount of time that is going by. Utopia keeping that cap underway, but Utopia with so much of a HP advantage, with so much confidence in their play. Polo Mako finds formula, and now we're down to 4 for Stronk.
Yeah, Utopia just flexing around the map and flexing their muscles very well. Speed's also in trouble in that T-32. He just doesn't stand a chance against the IS-3.
Yeah, Speed's in trouble. Money is looking for this one. Papa's already found Guccio, so the numbers are drastically in Utopia's favor, and Stronk seem to be doing well for some time, but Utopia just so proficient in their plays. It's just been absolutely beautiful to watch, but now Podomako going to join in. Mamani takes a shell, but they do get the kill, so for pretty much a free pickup there, as Racing is now last man alive. He's been found. That's Papa from the back, just doing that lovely little bit of sustained damage coming in. And sadly for Racing, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Papa is doing what MVP Papa does best, just changing the game. 10 seconds on the cap now. And we will have the exchange as Poto Mako closes it down. And Utopia, at no surprise, pick up round 1.
Yeah, they're not even that close. It's definitely worrying for Stronk Siema that they went through the pick and ban phase that he actually ended up with Ghost Town. It's looking like Utopia are on form as normal, winning the attacking rounds, finding the angles, making the first move, and just doing very well for themselves. I think Utopia are just a solid team on this map, and it's going to take a lot more than that for another team to come in, you know, encroach on their territory and claim Ghost Town as their own.
Look, Stronk then were shoddy. They just got outplayed. Utopia had so many different variations they could go to. That's the first time we've had to see them do that sort of play towards the central cap. They kind of split off into 2 different areas. They had this wonderful way of just challenging everyone down. They seem so far ahead of everyone else at the moment.
Yeah, they were just winning the exchanges. The shots were going in their favor. They're just making everything work for them. I think another thing to point out is that I think if you want to win against Utopia, you should just be aggressive. You know, like take 2 5100s, take 3 5100s, do it what Virtus Pro did on this map. Just go aggressive down into the south and try and just be, you know, an unstoppable force, and just go for those exchanges against Utopia as soon as you have the reload to do so. But I don't know, we'll see what Stronk Siema can do, but it doesn't look like Utopia coming back into this match.
No. Let's have a little look back into some of those moments as well. This was them after the initial plan wasn't, of course, seen. It seems that Stronk had an idea of how to deal with the first move that Utopia brought out that they've utilized previously. But then once it came to this sort of play, once Utopia got themselves in this position, going for that central cap, they seemed wonderfully prepared for it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they're just going forwards. They got all the tanks in the right place. I think Stronk Siema do well to know what Utopia are doing and to have a lot of angles covered. But, you know, it's just a bit lackluster from them. They just didn't win the exchanges, and you could see as well, you know, the T-32 was using 105mm, which has, you know, less damage, 320 to the IS-3, and it just doesn't win the exchanges. So if Stronk Siema wanted to do something with that tank, they have to keep it hull down, and only work for so long as, you know, Utopia just wiped the floor with them.
Yeah, pretty much. Utopia looking a million miles ahead. But still, I'm hoping there is method to the madness of Stronk picking this map. I'm yet to see it, but you have to have a plan picking this one. Like, there's no two ways about it. You can't just be like, well, let's hope for the best here, and maybe we'll be fine. You've got to have a plan, and they've got to have worked something out. They've seen what Utopia can bring. They've seen, you know, a number of varieties to the tactics that Utopia have in store here, but when does the buck stop? When can Stronk really pick it up? You said maybe a touch of aggression could have really helped them out there, maybe a little bit more decisive play. We have to see. Ollie, your prediction coming into this round, who's got it?
I think Utopia are looking a little bit better than Stronk Siema, but I still feel that Stronk Siema have something which they haven't shown us so far.
Well, let's hope so for their sakes. 3-2 now, Utopia closing in on that gap. And let's see what they have in store this round. Last time, it was Utopia leading the pace by quite some margin. And now, can they do the same? Or Stronk have a bit of a plan here? Both teams going to a similar position, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, you know, Stronk Siema have only played this map once in the whole season, so we don't really know, you know, what they're really capable of, and that was a pretty lackluster first round. I think they've got a really good plan to stop this move here, basically Papa Pavian in the cap, but really do they have a middle plan? That's the question. Utopia setting up now in the north. They got a good amount of crossfire, but Racing and Formula also there ready and waiting, and they should have probably connected that shell.
Yeah, 2 shots being made, Aojek and Formula, and none of them hitting so far. This is kind of embarrassing.
I don't know why they're just not shooting that that house down. Maybe they want it to be cover for a later date.
Kind of curious, but actually the IS-3s are backing out. They have a good idea what's going on. Aojek.
That was a HE round, I think.
There's a massive amount of damage coming through. Papa's down to 29 HP, but he's now joining the cap with Money and Bishu covering him off. Aojek takes one, doesn't land it. We're seeing this struggle continue.
Yeah, I mean, 2 tanks in the cap and Utopia just doing their standard northern area play. You can see Stronk Siema just drawing the battle lines, trying to find a way onto Utopia. You've also got Guzio in the T-37 coming from behind. So, I don't know, I think Stronk Siema can do this. They're definitely leading in HP by 1.5k right now, especially because Shoku took a lot of damage.
You hope they have a plan. It's just this cap is getting pretty close. It's down to 17 seconds, which really isn't all that favourable if they want to commit right now. But keep your eyes on that timer, because we are seeing at least a bit of an affirmative move coming out from Stronk. But look around the backside. It's Bishu coming in that patented 5100 here. Looking maybe to seal the deal towards Lucas. Gets the shot in. Looks for the follow-up. He's probably going to get it, but he takes a touch on the way. But 10 seconds. Make it 7 here. The cap is also such a factor right now. They need to get the reset on. Stronk need this. They get it. But they're losing the fight overall. It's being brought back so close.
But Formula's going to come in. He might be able to finish off Mucker if he gets a shell there as well from the side. So I think Utopia and Stronk Siema are just going head to head, and it's so close.
Yeah, this is a brawl to really define these two, and who comes out on top here? Wilk going to be challenging down Guccio. Guccio's in trouble. He's down to absolutely nothing, burning alive right now. That T-37 is damn on fire. He's down at 84 HP. Everyone's so low for Stronk. They have the tanks alive though, but the same can be said for Utopia. Racing trying to be the spearhead here, but Formula finally takes down Muka, taking that threat away from the cap. Speed onto Wicked. It's finally going Stronk's way, but can they keep this up? Potomako and McMoney are still sitting so favorably. They have so much HP here, and they still have so much time to work with.
It's Racing and Gucci are both one-shot, so Potomako just needs to choose a target well, but Speed comes in.
Bishu to save the day, taking down Guccio, making his mind up for him, and Potomako picking up Speed. Racing, what are you doing? He needed to get in the fight, but no, Utopia pulling it back in, even with the odds against him then. And now Stu on reload for 43 seconds.
Yeah.
He needs to get the hell out of there and hope those IS-3s don't catch him.
I mean, you could see the problem there from Stronk Siema. Steroids was on reload. Like, they pushed in when Steroids on reload. Bishu could just come from behind, and it was just easy job for them. I mean, I've never been really impressed with Steroids. I think he's pretty average player in many respects, and in this round, it just didn't do much for him, and his team didn't help him as well. So, another round, I believe, going for Utopia, unless Steroids can just pull out a miracle. Caps on the way, which is a logical thing to do. But here was the thing, you know, Stronk Siema were always winning in terms of tanks in many respects, but McMoney has so much HP still to play around with that he could just bully his way basically into the map and win it for them.
Well, he basically became a raid boss at the end of it when they're all so low. Like, you know, sometimes you do need someone in the battle with you. When one player's left on a lot of HP, it normally displays that they haven't been part of the fight overall, but at this point it helped Utopia, as now he can just sit there and be, you know, sitting pretty. But 13 seconds. Stu needs to pull off some hero level plays. He does have all shells available. 10 seconds to make this shot. Potomako is watching this angle. He knows Stu might be coming around here. Stu going to take his time. He needs to land this shot. He must make it happen. And there we go. It's just sealing the deal for Potomako and Utopia. 2 in a row now on Ghost Town. This is something that we said is a problem here. You go into this map against Utopia, you better have a plan. And that one got close, but it seemed that Utopia at the end just played that better. Yeah,
I think the timing was just all wrong on Stronk Siema's side. I mean, as I said before, you know, pushing forwards with the 3 tanks, when I think it was Guzio, Speed, and Racing maybe. They just pushed forwards. Steroids in behind with the AMX5100 on reload. I don't know if he should have been on reload there. I think he had a few shells maybe to make. I think he did a lot of damage against Shoku at the beginning, but after that, it basically did nothing for his team. So they pushed forwards, and then that allowed Utopia to actually come away with quite a lot of hit points in many respects. So a good round from Utopia, just solid play.
Let's look at that initial capping move as well. This was constantly going on in the background, which kept so many...
Here's the problem though, look, Steroids on reload. He can do nothing for like another 20 seconds, like, yeah. and Guzio has to come in. I think Ojek and Formula do a good job in this fight. Yeah. But, you know, again, you know, Formula on 100% HP, Ojek on nothing. So, you know, there's just clearly miscommunications and misdamage channels in many respects.
See, and it's surprising when you see Stronk looking so good in other maps in these areas, but clearly not having that kind of intrinsic way of playing just over the board. They need time to train these maps, and Racing just going in, trying to be the big dog here, taking on Wicked, and now Gucci and Speed, of course, going in. Now this is a 3v2, but Shock comes into the fight, and it changes it again. Speed managed to take down Wicked, Racing towards Shock, and somehow Potomako stays alive throughout this. And I don't know where the other tank's gone at this point. There was 3 tanks here before, and now Speed's not fancying it. He's going to be joining in a little later. But they allowed Utopia to come back into that. That should never happen. I just feel that was sloppy play coming out from Stronk.
Yeah, Stronk Siema had to go into these situations where, you know, going for the brawls when they had low HP tanks, they had one-shots, which just allowed, you know, Bishu, whoever, just to come in and finish the tanks off. Very easy stuff from them. Looking at the damage, 2.3k, Racing 2.2k, you know, again, you know, there's so many one-sided damage results where you have one team with one player which does a lot, yeah. and you have another team with a whole load of players doing well. So I think, you know, they just need everyone on the same level right now, Stronk.
Oh, it doesn't seem as though they are. That's the problem. And now with 3-3, it kind of just upsets the whole dynamic, because you'd assume now... I don't think Utopia's exceptionally weak or stronger on one side on this map. I think they are very well rounded on both sides, and that's where the issue starts. If Stronk weren't able to even chip them on the first half, I don't know what they can achieve going into the second here. Ollie, prediction time. What's happening here? It's 3-3 now.
It's 3-all. Everything's even. Of course, you know, we saw the defensive rounds there from Stronk Siema. Now on the attacking side, I think they're better on the... I know, I've been really impressed with Utopia on the attack. Maybe more so on their defense, so I think they have a chance here, Stronk.
Well, let's find out. The game is certainly live, and we can turn our attention towards this. Take a look at what we're seeing. Utopia, as you said, will be on the defensive side, Stronk on the attack, and I pray to God that Stronk have their plan now. Why would you pick this map if you don't? There has to be a reason, and hopefully we find out what it is.
Yeah, so you can see the lineups there. Pretty interesting. I mean, you got T-32 on the attack, Steroids in the 5100, and of course you got the T54 played by Lucas Chesty. That's for Stronk Siema. Utopia, you know, the predictable team, always going for the same tanks, basically. Papa Pavian playing that MT25, great at resetting, great at really just being a pest. And Utopia at the beginning just heading up for a 2-cap push from Stronk Siema. Stronk Siema are heading up north, and they just want to give, you know, Utopia maybe a taste of their own medicine with that northern cap.
Well, you said aggression could work. It could help them out. It could maybe tip this slightly towards what Stronk could achieve here, but still, let's see. Cap being started, racing, Aeojec and Formula, all in the cap.
Yeah, it's hard times now for Utopia. And you can see the engagement also happening down south. The thing is, right, Utopia set up for a 2-cap. Stronk Siema just went for the engage there, kept Utopia in a position, and had their main plan up north. So they've actually bought themselves quite a lot of time. This might work out for Stronk Siema.
Well, they're down to 10 seconds, so this has not been bad at all. Stu is low, but it's the cap I'd like to look at, if I'm honest, because these guys are sticking out. Wilk's not landing the shot. 5 seconds left. There we go. Finally, the reset comes in from money, but still. Can they close this one down now? 19 seconds again. That clock is going to be getting quicker and quicker in their eyes. Speed is just standing in their way for Utopia. They're going to surely be able to take him down in one swift move, but fire from the backside does come in, and actually Utopia being taken a little bit lower here. Speed staying alive, but surely not for long. Mook has 2 shells to make, but finding none. Stu with a great little crossfire. 4 seconds on the cap. Wilk's going to go in. He's going to have to try and get the reset right here, right now. 1 second on this cap. The reset comes out in the end from Mooka, I believe, just in the back, just focusing down the fire. But Stronk are holding their numbers, holding their HP, and look at Wilk. He's round the back. Money, Potomako, all trying to get into this fight, but Lucas does come in. Damage comes out. Stu on the run. He's on reload, but the brawl is certainly undertaken.
Stronk Siema just need to push forwards. They need to keep the directional damage going. They need to find their target, and Utopia are looking like they're down right now.
Utopia, but can they pull it back? They're the team that's renowned on this map. This should be their home turf, but look at this. Wicked doing the damage, joined by Potomako. Now Aeojec, he's on reload for another 4-ish seconds, maybe 5, so he's got a lot of time to think about this one, but Potomako and Wicked still challenge him down. Stu still alive. 4v3. Shot comes out. Stu, a 1 shot here. Full shells available. Guccio helps him out, takes Mooka down, and here comes the cavalry. Aeojec just needs to stay alive, and there'll be support coming. Wicked's there. Potomako takes a shot. Lucas takes him down, and now just Wicked alive. 1v3. Stu's a 1 shot. Lucas is low, but they should have this one.
Yeah, finally Utopia do win that engagement in the cap, but it's too little too late, and Wicked, you know, he's against 3 players. Does find Guccio, who's been fantastic this round, but he gives Lucas Chiasti the opening need to try and finish this one off. And look at the damage he's done in a T54. That's why you take it. 11 shots, 11 hits, and 3 frags to his name.
Beautiful work from Lucas there. Almost hitting that 2K on the nose, but nicely done from Stronk in the end. And that cap was so well formed. The crossfires to support it were very well placed. And what really stood out to you there for Stronk that just made them really pick that one up?
I just thought their engagement was very good. I mean, they went for the engage against Utopia down in that middle area, so they got them distracted, you know, won a lot of the fights there. Lucas Chiasti was roaming. They had a lot of situations where you could see Utopia were biting in the bit to go forwards to be aggressive, but then you had Guccio from behind, you had Lucas Chiasti from behind, a lot of these angles coming through from low HP tanks, but you can only point your turret in one direction, and that's what really worked for them. And you know, also the fact that those 3 tanks from Stronk Siema, they did their bait in the cap. They kept Utopia at bay. They were pretty much always going to lose that situation because they'd already taken some damage beforehand.
So let's look back at some of those capping moves that came out, and make sure you keep note of every player's position at this point surrounding it as well. Now, Stu was very low. I'm very surprised Stu was able to stay alive so long. He was taken down extraordinarily low at this point. Now, a great little reset did come in from McMoney here, but the amount of times we saw that cap getting so low, but these IS3s just were able to stay just stay alive throughout all of this for so long.
This is what I really liked. I mean, you could see the situation where Speed should be dead, basically.
100%.
But you're also very... these 3 tanks are very scared of racing Aeojec and
Stu's
Formula.
still there.
And Speed's still there. Stu's there. You've got Guccio from behind as well. So Speed is still alive. Now that's a problem. 2 5100s from Utopia go low. The MT25 gets taken down by Guccio as well. And, you know, yeah, okay, Racing only did 164 damage in this battle, but it was enough.
And his role, to me, wasn't to do damage almost there. He did his role perfectly fine. Sure, maybe a couple more shots would have been lovely, but it makes no odds to me. If they pick up the round, he served his purpose. That's all that matters. So already a very impressive play coming out from Stronk, but can they do it twice? That's the big question. That was a very close game from start to finish. Your thoughts on this? Can they do it again?
I think they can do it again. They look good. I mean, it was a very close round indeed, but I don't know. I think they can close this one out. They are on match point.
That's it. Match point coming in. This round is the one that counts. We'll be going to a third map. We're going to stay here and see if Stronk can do it. We're going to find out very soon. I believe the game has just about started. And here we go. 4-3, Stronk with a very quiet start to this game, but suddenly became very loud on their attack. And of course, they're on the attack again. Anything jumping out to you so far? Anything surprising you?
No, just the same tanks as last time, exactly the same picks. Now, I think the big point here for Utopia would be that they don't get stretched around the map. They try and keep their MT25 alive, their tier 6 alive, so they can keep poke, they can keep map control. I think that was a big problem there. Gutierrez won that exchange, as the T37 should, but Papa needs to keep on form and play to his usual high standard. Now, Utopia set up towards the middle again, exactly the same setup as they did last time, and Stronk Siema going for the same as well.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a rinse and repeat, but can it work? Can it literally work exactly the same twice? That's the big point here. I said, can they do it again? I didn't mean literally, but it seems that, hey, I guess if it works once, in theory, it should be able to work again, but they're putting so much pressure on towards these that T32, that 5100, and the IS-3 is going to a similar formation. 25 seconds on the cap so far. It's going down quite low, so they will have to commit towards this. And I don't know what to make of this. I'm a little scared they're doing the same thing twice, literally back to back.
Yeah, but they could see what mistakes they made last time, improve on it, and actually win it in that respect. So, you got a position where Stronk Siema are pretty good. They can push forwards, they can do as much damage as they want, and they've also cut out Shook you.
Oh, that's perfect. They've caused Shock massively out position. Speed doesn't have a shell yet. Stu gets himself into a better position. Now down to a one-shot. There we go. Speed does the damage to that T32, but look at this. The cap's still underway. AOJ getting focused down massively this time, and he will be picked up. No, excuse me, that's Steroids going down. This isn't going so well anymore for Stronk. They still are holding a good few numbers, but the HP is in Utopia's hands.
Yeah, it definitely is. Formula pushed around some with money, and Wicked is responding, but you can see Stronk Siema definitely have a position where they can take down Wicked.
They should be able to, but all that crossfire from the side, they're being picked to pieces. Lucas just trying to come in, trying to help him out, but he didn't need to. They already had this, but Speed is so low. He's been worked away at by Papa, and it's Potomako to pick up the kill in the end. But still, 3 tanks remain for Stronk against the 4 of Utopia. This is still possible. They're still trying to cut people out here.
Yeah, but it's Papa Pavian as well on the MT25, and Lucas Shiasti, he's just loving the fact that there's 2 5100s on reload. He's just going to do so much damage while they can't respond with any of their own.
Well, let's see how much he can achieve. Keep your eyes on that in the background as these 2 IS-3s will face down Potomako. Formula does have a shell to make. Gets it, now down almost to a one-shot here. Papa is racing to finish him off, and now 3v3, it's back on. However, those 5100s now both have shells available. This is going to get dangerous and pretty darn close very soon. Bishu will focus down Formula first and foremostly, and now Racing and just Lucas left alive.
This is a big problem actually for Stronk Siema right now. There's 2 5100s doing so much work, but Lucas Shiasti, disengages from the MT25 in time and actually helps his teammates.
Bishu's only got 1 shot as well though. If Lucas can play that right, bounce. That was such a disaster for him. Can he do any more? Lucas has shells ready here. He's hit 2k almost at this point. Bishu's down to 366 HP. Papa 48. But then again, Lucas is on the attack. It makes it slightly harder, but he's got a lot of time here. The
MT25, of course, is faster and has got a better power to rate ratio than the T54. That's the big problem right now. I mean, Papa can just kite Lucas Shiasti around the map. Lucas Shiasti's doing the thing right there. He's just getting himself unspotted and trying to find that 5100 because he knows if it comes off reload, it's game over.
Wow, 16 seconds here. Bishu has to be so cautious now. Lucas is going the right way. 10 seconds for Bishu to be able to make a shot. And he's going to be spotted pretty darn soon. Lucas should be able to see him pretty much now. Here we go. Bishu has shot, so this is going to get very, very painful. Lucas has to be careful. Fire comes out. He's going to take the time with the shot. He doesn't get him down. Lucas now a one shot. He's got to be careful from Papa as well. And it's Papa to seal it. And we are going into a third map. 4-4 Utopia closing out in the end, but Whew, that was a little bit too close at the end then.
Yeah, that's the power and the weakness of the 5100 just in one whole battle there. You could see, Strong Siema were winning, doing so well in the position when those two 5100s were on reload. And then when they came off reload, they just cancelled out the IS3s amazingly. You got Papa Pavian doing such a good job, kiting around Lucas Shiasti, and that's what it came down to. Ultimately, Lucas Shiasti made so many mistakes. He was going for Papa, seeing if he could take him out. He left his two IS3s who didn't play well either. They were just playing in the middle, allowing themselves to be kited around in the middle of a field for those 5100 who were just coming off reload. So I think two mistakes. First of all, Lucas Shiasti should have just been going 3 versus 2 and letting Papa do whatever he wants. And second one, those two IS3s getting kited.
A little bit of a shame there coming through in the end for Stronk. But then again, we did question this map choice. But Melly, the people at home must be going wild for this game.
Absolutely. I mean, we were a bit too fast with our assumptions after first map, as it seems people at home already predicted the full distance that we're going to see 3 maps. And people, you were again right. And it just makes me a bit mad, to be honest, that we don't have this expertise. I always blame it on the swarm intelligence, but you can't always to get that point right. And yes, full distance, 3 maps. What's the exciting map tonight?
Himmelsdorf. So the thing is, I mean, we're going back to Himmelsdorf, which was Strong Siema's map. So
exactly, good for Strong.
Good for Strong, yeah.
Do we know who's attacking first, or
no? It depends on whoever's done the
I
fastest attacking round.
Stronk is defending, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. Yeah,
No,
Stronk will be defending.
Strong have decided to defend.
So Utopia started to defend on Himmelsdorf.
No, Strong Siema started to defend on Himmelsdorf.
You sure?
Yeah.
Didn't they start? Okay. I'll check that.
I mean, for me, this one would be.
No, Utopia started defending on Himmelsdorf only.
Did they? Okay, so I think
Ghost Town was Strong's choice. They started defending on Ghost Town.
Okay.
I should take your place.
Fair enough. But the thing is, I mean, this one could be interesting. I mean, Strong Siema looking good on Himmelsdorf. Utopia looked good on, of course, Ghost Town. So I don't know.
So
it's pretty even.
The better half for Strong was the attacking side on Himmelsdorf. Why not going for the attacking side?
Well, I don't know. I think it's harder to attack at the end of the day. I mean, they maybe thought they got lucky or, got a couple of things that worked out for them. I mean, Utopia didn't exactly defend very well. So, there's a lot of reasons. I think they made the right decision here.
Okay, but it's going to be interesting as it seems.
Yeah, it should be.
Well, we're going to see the difference here because Stronk got absolutely trashed on this first time, let's be honest. It was pretty much going the way we expected, the votes expected, everything was pretty much right, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, we saw map 2 come around, got a little closer, but I don't know. Stronk, for me, going to have to do something impressive here to actually close this one out. Utopia's going to have so much confidence.
Yeah, they do look like they're on form, but this is the thing. Utopia on Ghost Town are just really good, and it's just so much arrogance from Strong Siema to pick up Ghost Town. I think a lot of teams just need to take a chill pill and pick a map. Don't pick your the other team's favorite map. It's one of those things, in every game, and you don't do. Now, lineups are coming in. Looks like triple IS3, double 50-100, or quadruple IS3 even, and the MT25 played by Wicked. That's for Utopia, and Stronk going for the quadruple IS3, T37, and AMX 5100 as well. So pretty similar lineups to what they did in the previous round, both on Ghost Town and Himmelsdorf.
A bet? What are you going to say scoreline-wise? Oh, not scoreline-wise, but who's going to win it?
I know. I think Utopia just need to... They kind of beat themselves in that first round on that first map on Himmelsdorf. So I don't know. I honestly couldn't put a bet on this one.
Oh, come on.
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Do it.
No. I'm going to put it to Utopia.
You going Utopia? I'll go Stronk then, just for the sake of it. Melly, who are you going for? Stronk?
Strong, of course. Poland ball.
Poland ball. Okay.
Ball.
German.
Poland ball. Okay.
The Germans.
The German is coming out again.
Wagen.
Schmetterling.
Schmetterling. Anyway.
Such a kid's word. But
kid's word? Sounds very angry for a child's word.
Apparently it's a child's word.
Schmetterling?
Yeah.
That's an animal.
It's a
butterfly.
It's a child's word. Children use a word like Schmetterling.
That's like the correct
That's like
term
saying a
for a butterfly.
Yeah.
Schmetterling.
I got told it's a children's word. I mean, I don't
Who
know.
told you that?
Someone German?
Why do you believe people so easily?
You're just
I
gullible.
don't know. It was a German person telling me it's a children's word. It didn't sound implausible to me. I mean, sorry.
I mean,
God.
it's the animal. It's
Yeah.
Schmetterling.
It's what it is. God, stop judging Schmetterlings in the world.
Schmetterling.
We apologise to all Schmetterlings out there that Ollie may have offended by saying they're only for children.
Well, I would also like to send an apology to Schmetterling and also children for linking the
Let's be
two
honest,
together.
Ollie, you've got a lovely tattoo of a Schmetterling now. You must be gutted that it's apparently just for children. That's awful.
Oh,
It's
man.
beautiful. It was on the lower
Ruined.
back,
That was
isn't
a
it?
waste for 250.
Oh, God, so much money.
Tramp stamp. Schmetterling.
Didn't want to say it, but the teams are ready, and we can stop talking absolute nonsense and get into game here, because it is the one round now. 4-4 on the overall scoreboard, and Stronk will be on the defence, as noted. Utopia on the attack.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Stronk Siema were very good on the on the attack last time. So I don't know. I think going defensive side, as Melly mentioned, is a questionable decision. But again, 55% win ratio for the teams overall. That's all 12 teams in the Gold Series is really an indicator that perhaps the defensive side is still the favoured on Himmelsdorf. Now, Utopia made so many mistakes on the attack last time. They didn't really find a lot of angles. They got shut down in many respects. So I hope they've found those weaknesses and corrected them.
Well, we're going to find out very soon, in 6 minutes' time, pretty much. Stronk playing this very passively now. I personally would have rather seen maybe an IS-3 down that one line, but then again, what do I know? Stronk just like to play it far up towards the north. You said that the northern cap can be utilised easier and harder to retake, so it kind of makes sense. And still, we're seeing that MT-25 going up to the same position. This is looking a little bit like a rinse and repeat.
Yeah, it's going in towards that left side. You can see straight away that Utopia wants to go for the west side cap. You got the 5100 as well coming off the hill. That's a risky move. Of course, the 5100 very effective at taking down tanks from the hill, especially when they go for the decap. But also having a tank all the way up there, kind of out of position, doesn't exactly help their cause in many respects. So I know Strong Siema just holding tight, holding fast, not wanting to make the next move, just letting Utopia go forwards first. Caps on the way now, Wicked in the MT-25.
I'm sorry, you made a great noise earlier.
What?
I don't know what it was. You're better in tears. But you are right, the cap has started, and Shock has taken up that one-line position. Aojek there, just sitting in by that C3 area. And we're going to have to see Stronk's retake
PO.
on this. Pardon?
PO. C3PO, sorry.
Oh, God, Ollie. It's all gone wrong.
bad call for me on that joke, but anyway, we'll move on. McMoney just getting towards that cap now. I'd really like to see, Utopia not overreact here. You got Speed, Ojek, Formula, Lucas Shasti all in good position to actually shoot tanks in the cap. So they should just keep calm, cool, and collected and wait for Strong Siema to make the next move. Get the crossfire via Mucker and Bishu in the 5100s. And, they should be okay.
Well, we're going to find out. 53 seconds now on this cap. Shock trying to take on Aojek there. Shell just bouncing off that IS-3. And there we go. Wilk does take a little bit of a touch of damage from steroids. Second not going to connect, but that one will. Speed coming in with the 5100 from that one line further up towards the north in A1. And at the moment, Stronk didn't overreact, it seems. They held their nerve.
Yeah, but this is the thing, the pressure's now off Stronk. They can just reset back into their positions. They've taken down the MT-25. They can just relax. They've got no pressure on them. And Utopia now needs to make the next move. I mean, clearly, now they lost the MT-25. The cap is out of the question. So Strong Siema's like, okay, so what are the options for Utopia? They can push up the 8 line, they can push up the 1 to 3 line, or they can push through the middle. They haven't really got time to push over the hill, so they just need to make the right decision. And Utopia, they need to do what they do best. They need to go for those engagements and win the firefights with those IS-3s.
Well, you've drawn the battle lines. They need to. They know. Well, you know what they need to do, but let's hope they can actually do that. Hunter last time made a bit of an error. Overzealous play on this map, over peaking, and he can be such an important factor towards his side. When he lets them down like that, it can be a problem. But now, as you mentioned, Utopia have to be making these plays. They have to make the moves. Once that cap was dealt with, of course, Stronk were able to kind of rest back a little bit. 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Stronk on 9.1k, Utopia 8.4, but not too much to be worried about just yet. Seeing Podomako and Bishu looking towards that northern cap as well. Lucas, though, going to actually connect the shell, and Stronk seem to be really competent at holding on so far.
Yeah, and also Shuku takes quite a lot of damage on that left side for Utopia, just going down to 610 HP, excuse me, from Speed, who doing a good job on the 5100. So damage now clearly in favor for Strong Siema. Utopia, though, have got themselves some positions. West side, middle area as well. So 2 minutes and 8 seconds now. Muka going towards the cap, and I think you'll see the engage now from Utopia.
Oh, we're going to see what they can bring here. That T-37 is still certainly in position there. That's Guccio, but I don't know how long he can withstand this. Got to be a little careful. Wow, actually takes 2 and doesn't go down. So Guccio will be able to back out if he would like to. I can imagine he does. But the cap is actually mostly focused in towards the west. This is quite ingenious, pulling the players towards the north, but actually capping down towards the west side. Muka keeping Lucas busy. This is smart play from Utopia, but they are low on HP now.
Oh, but Guccio might fall. That's a good play. Muka does just enough, and he might find that last shell. He doesn't. Lucas, he has to make sure of that.
But there's still, you know, a little bit of time left on this cap. 30-ish seconds. But there we go. Big resets coming in. Formula finding Bishu. Aojek focusing down Podomako here. And those 2 IS-3s in that cap are going to be left to their own devices, aside from that 5100 up north, just occasionally laying in fire. Racing's going to join Aojek. And we're seeing, slowly but surely, Stronk working down Utopia. Shock finds Speed, though. Finally, these guys are turning their attention. Formula on towards Podomako. Hunter sitting pretty. Sure, he's on full HP, but he's done nothing this game thus far. A little bit of a lackluster performance from someone who was mentioned to be a factor they were scared of, nervous of facing, but Stronk pulling it together in this one, showing their prowess on this map. And now Hunter, a little worse for wear, as Stu does manage to find Shock. Hunter takes down Stu. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but still, Utopia down to 2 tanks against the 4 of Stronk. And my God, these boys have come out fighting here. McMoney trying to tuck himself in behind the tank of his fallen comrade. Racing finds Hunter. It's all on McMoney. 1v4. He's down to 249 HP, and I don't think it matters. Formula's there. McMoney takes down Aojek. He's doing what he can. He's fighting his way through it, but we all know it's inevitable that he will be picked up. Lucas bouncing 1, but Racing will deliver, and Stronk pick up a 5-4 result.
Yeah, tiebreaker result going for Strong Siema. I said Utopia would win it, but I knew in my heart of hearts that it would actually be Strong Siema to walk away for this one. But I think overall it does sum up the game. Polish rivals, very close, but Strong Siema just looked better almost every single round. Then when it reset back to Himmelsdorf, thanks to the tiebreaker, it was of course going to be Strong Siema's game. So yeah, I mean, that last round, I think Utopia had lost it when they lost the MT25. I think it was a little bit obvious, and I think they should have gone on the hill, but it was close.
It was fairly close, bearing in mind. It wasn't a complete one-sided affair there, but still, I think credit where it's due. Stronk did deserve that victory in the end. They showed how good they were on Himmelsdorf, and it really did translate throughout the entire match. Now, of course, I think we need to look towards why the hell they would ever pick Ghost Town against Utopia.
Yeah.
That's a factor they need to deal with. But as you can see here, they just played this one out well.
Yeah, I think they should have picked any other map. I mean, Nuremberg, Steps, Mines, it would all have been pretty even Stevens. I think Strong Siema just thought they could maneuver, out-counter Utopia like Wusa did, like Ding did against them, and you know, they all made that same mistake. But here's the thing, you know, just picking up a point from Strong Siema is good. I mean, it puts them up into joint 3rd place, the Tornado Rocks. Strong Siema with the 2 points puts them on to 8 and doesn't affect their positioning at all. If they taken the clear, you know, 5-3 result, for instance, they would have been on the same amount of points as Penta, so in 7th.
Yeah, but still, even just taking points away from opponents can be a big factor. But for those guys, I can imagine it was more about pride, especially when you have those kind of inter-country battles. It always comes down to pride being on the line. And Melly, the people at home were loving it, I assume, because you know, it's sort of very one-sided. But did they get it right in the end?
No, of course not. Still, they were still favoring Utopia with 66% after the first map, and this match was just a roller coaster ride. Strong running in front. Then Ghost Town happened. We all saw it for everyone that just tuned in. You missed it, boys. The VODs will be up soonish on our YouTube channel. Don't worry. /WGLEU at this point. And at the end, Strong Siema 5-4. Almost no one expected it. Maybe I'll check in with the winners later to see if someone got it right. If not, then The next vote is almost up, and it will be Virtus Pro versus AZAP. I mean, looking on paper, already decided. We don't have to talk around. We don't have to try to find nice words. But Virtus Pro already said on Twitter that they will still take them serious, will still give their best, and will hopefully bring a good match. And that's what we're going to say after a short break, hopefully. With you guys back in front of your computers, enough time to get your popcorn ready, which I already have, and, well, hopefully see you back after a short break.